So for the task now, we are going to do the same for users. So for these users, I'm going to be a bit fast. Users, close it, and say users equal to storage dot all passing user dot values, and then return the Sony file. Then use a list comprehension to save to for user in users. So for each user, I'm going to call to the method to convert them into valid dictionary and then return them. Then going to now this one is for retrieving the specific user. So it's going to take a user ID. A method is get user ID. This is going to be getting one user. And then we are going to be using the get method, and then followed by the user ID. If a user is found, we are going to return the user after calling this method on it. Okay, I guess it should be user. If a user is not found, done with about 404. Then the next will be root for deleting the user. So you call here copy this, and okay, I think there's typo. This should be slash. Same thing here. This should be slash, and then the method here is going to be the delete method. Then this should be delete user ID. Okay, and then again we are going to check if a user is found. If a user is found, we call storage dot delete and pass in the user, and also call storage dot save to persist these changes. And then if a user is not found, return with about 404, meaning not found. And then another one is the root for creating a new user, which is going to be a post method. So press this here. This will not be expecting any ID, and the method is post no parameter, and this should be create user. Should be create user. So first we are going to check if refresh dot content type, if it's not application slash JSON, we return with about 400 and not JSON. What am I doing? I was looking at the screen, and okay, so we do the same. We are going to check if the data from request is empty. So we say if request dot get JSON, if it's empty, we usually return about 400 with this same message. And then if it's not empty, say data, we grab the data from user. Okay, my bad, should be here. And then we're going to check if email is a key in data. If there is no key named email in the data, we are going to return with about about 400 bits missing name. And also we're going to check if there is password, because we need an email and password to create a user. Create a user. And then if all these checks, if they pass, the next thing is to create a new user object with the data from the user. So we say user is equal to user back data, and then we call dot save to persist this new creation, and then we return the data after calling to dig method on it. We usually return 200 status code. So next one is to create a route. Another route is this one is going to be for updating, that is a put method. I needed to copy this from here, and this one is going to be expecting an ID, a user ID, and the method is put, and the name of the function is update user. So first we are going to try to retrieve the user that gets user. We're passing the user ID, and then if okay, this is supposed to take a parameter. So if a user is found, you are going to check that the data is not empty. If it's not, the data is empty, we return with about 404 and with this message or a JSON. Then also we are going to check that the content type is a JSON. If it's not a JSON, we are going to abort with 404. And then finally, or not finally, we get the data from the user using the get JSON method from Flask, and then create a list of ignore keys which contains the attributes the user cannot modify. Then, like we've always been doing, we are going to iterate through the data, and we are going to let's see, for key value in data items, and then we are going to check to make sure that we are not updating any key in the ignore list. So you say if key not in ignore list, we are going to use the set attribute method to set the user to update the new attributes, and then we call user.save to persist the changes, and then we return the user object with 200 status code, and if the user is not found, return with about 404, meaning not found. I guess we can test this one, creation of users. So let's go ahead and test user routes. So I'll start my app, divide this into two, and here I've prepared something to help me do this fast. So I'll call, that is, we are going to try to retrieve all users. So if I call okay, I guess This is my fault. Same here. This is my fault. So let's try our call again. On 17. Okay, this should be storage or users dot values. Okay, so let's do this again. Okay, so see that we've retrieved a user. We only have one user here, and the next one is to get user by passing the ID. So I guess we do this again, but this time we're going to take this ID, pass it to the user, and so we get pass it to the route. We see we get the same user again. Next one, since we have one user, we are not going to use delete first. We are going to try to create a new user. So for creating a new user, it's going to be a post method, and we're going to set the header as content type, the content type as application JSON, then the data, we're going to set email, then the password. Copy this, paste it, and then says not allowed. The child is not allowed for request. Let me see. Create user is a post method. Okay. But I should remove that ID there. Oh, so guys, there's a mistake here. I'm just seeing this. So the whole thing is my fault. I had to use a backlash. So let's try this again. Okay, so we see that we've created a new user. This is the email and this is the password. And then the next one is to update this user. So let me pick this up. Let me correct this here. And I'm going to change the first name to, because the user we created does not have any first name. Okay, I'm going to take the ID first. I'm going to paste it here. Run the call again. So you see that we've updated and the first name is now 4. So let's try to retrieve all users again. So we see that we have 2 now. And what else? So we have to try to delete. Try the delete method. Then we need to pass in an ID. I'm going to delete this. What happened? Let's go to the delete method and see. So for some reason I failed to return something to the user. Just on the file. That is an empty JSON payload after deleting a user. And what am I supposed to return here? 200. Let's see, what have I been returning? Okay, 200. And now let's try to get all the users again and let's delete this user. ID. The first name is Lion. Let's see. And see that we successfully deleted this user.